It's important for us to keep our horses at a healthy weight. This can avoid problems such as stress on joints, poor performance while exercising, and being at a greater risk of conditions like laminitis. We have lots of different types of horses and ponies here at the sanctuary. Many of them are smaller ponies or native types, and they can be very good doers, so we often have to watch their weight quite carefully, especially through the spring and summer months. We use a combination of weigh tape, weigh bridge and body condition scoring. A weigh tape like this is really easy to use and doesn't cost a lot to get you started. It's a really good way to track changes in your horse's weight throughout the seasons. It can't always be exactly accurate, and that is one downside to using a weigh tape. It's really important to make sure that your horse is introduced to the weigh tape gradually so that they do not become anxious about the process and understand what it is that you're trying to do. So we're just going to approach Safi slowly and make sure that she doesn't get frightened by this. Which she is. There you go. We're measuring around the horse's girth. So position the tape just behind the horse's front legs and just at the base of the wither. And then you can tighten the tape just enough so that you can see a slight indentation in the horse's body. So using this measurement, you can get a rough idea of your horse's weight. Safi's reading is 504 kilograms. Remember to remove the tape nice and slowly as well so that you don't cause any fear or spook your horse. An effective way to keep a track of your horse's body condition is to use a body condition scoring system. You can use this handy guide which is available to download on our website. Body condition scoring is used to measure the amount of fat deposit on a horse's body, and it can be very useful to also allow you to work out what your horse's weight range on the weigh tape should be for a healthy weight. When body condition scoring, it's very important to be hands-on to do this and really feel the horse's body, and the three areas that we're going to be looking at are the horse's pelvis, the horse's back and ribs, and the horse's neck. I would always advise using a body condition score guide with you when you're doing this, even if you're used to doing it regularly. I'm going to body condition score Safi now. I'm going to start with her pelvis. Good girl. Once again, make sure you introduce this to your horse slowly so that they understand what you're doing. It's important to be really hands-on when you're doing this. You can't do it just by sight. So using the body condition scoring guide, I would score Safi's pelvis at a 3, which is good. Description of this is that her pelvis is rounded with a good covering of fat, but her pelvis is easily felt and there's no gutter along her back, which would be seen here as a dip in the top of her hindquarters. Moving forward to her back and ribs, I would also score her as a 3 in this area. The description for this is that she has a good covering of fat, but I can easily feel her ribs and her backbone. And now I'm going to move on to her neck. Go. Safi's neck scores a different number because she scores a 4 here. Her neck is quite wide and a bit firmer than it should be, with an obvious crest which you can see here. Safi's overall body condition score is a 3, despite the fact that her neck is slightly higher than this. We always start with the pelvis and then the back and ribs and then the neck. And we start with the score for the pelvis, only adjusting this by half a point if there is a point or more difference by the time you get to the bottom of the horse's neck. Our body condition score guide has pictures and descriptions for each grade, for each of the areas of the horse's body. So it's really clear and really useful when you're actually trying to body condition score your horse. You can just have it in your pocket. It's small and easy just to hide away, and you can use it on the stables or in the field really easily. Body condition scoring is effective on horses of 2 years of age and older. It's not a very effective tool for using on young stock less than 2 years. It's also really important that you do this hands-on and don't just try to do it by eye. The horse also needs to be standing up. You can't do this if the horse is laid down. Here at the sanctuary, we use a weigh bridge to help monitor the weight of our horses. For us, it's very useful as it's much more accurate than the weigh tape, and this is very helpful when we're deciding the dose that we need for medications or when we're weighing horses to give them things like wormers. It's really important to introduce your horse to anything new like this very gradually, and all of our horses undergo training to make sure that they're happy with the weigh bridge. Our horse's weight can be sometimes difficult to manage, especially through the spring and summer months. It's important to monitor your horse's weight regularly so that you can keep an eye on any changes and do something about it if the horse's weight or body condition score falls outside of a healthy range. If your horse is putting on too much weight through the spring and summer or at any time of the year, it may be necessary to reduce their daily intake. It's always advisable to get your vet's input on how to do this in the safest and most appropriate way. Horses would normally eat between 2.5% and 3% of their body weight per day. And during a time of diet and weight loss, this could be as little as 2%, but never do this without your vet's advice. Some ways to help your horse lose weight can be to restrict the amount of good grazing that they have access to increase exercise if the horse is able to exercise. Many of us are quite keen to rug our horses up during cold weather, although unless we have an older horse or a finer breed, many of our native types and ponies can cope really well in the winter and colder months without extra rugs on. Horses can use quite a large percentage of the energy they intake just in keeping warm, so if we're rugging them as well, they're not using this energy in the same way, and this can lead to additional weight gain. Horses have evolved over many years to be grazing for 16 to 18 hours of the day. And when we restrict their grazing time, this can lead to behavioural and other health problems. If you need to restrict your horse's daily energy intake, you can provide other forms of enrichment, and you can see our online resources for that. But also there are good ways where you can slow down the horse's rate of eating their forage that you're going to provide for them. Sometimes you could use a hay net or distribute the hay that you're giving them across a wider range of areas, not all in one place, so that they can keep moving, and this mimics natural behaviour better. If you're feeding hay, you could soak the hay, which will remove some of the nutrients from it and mean that you may be able to feed slightly higher weight of hay throughout a 24-hour period, not leaving your horse to go hungry. It's very important that we don't leave our horses without food for long periods of time. Our friendly team are always on hand to offer support and advice for anyone who would like it or needs it with their horse.